Hey guys, so I wanted to go through some of these problems for you. I know that it's been a while since you guys have done some of these problems, so I wanted to make sure that I made a video just going over basically how to answer these questions, right? So you guys, I only gave you 10 equations. They're pretty much review. They should be, I don't know, once you guys get back into the swing of things, it should be some pretty simple writing of equations and balancing of the equations, okay? So let's start with A. So for A, we have a solution of lead 2 nitrate that is mixed with a solution of sodium iodide. The first thing I want to remind you guys about is remember those Roman numerals tell you what the charge is on lead nitrate. So if I were to write lead nitrate, let's see if I can get my pen working here. We'll just go with a standard color. Okay. If we have lead 2 nitrate, we know that lead is going to be Pb. And remember, nitrate is a polyatomic ion, and it should be NO3 if you were to take a look on your polyatomic ion sheet. And we're mixing it with a solution of sodium, which is Na, and then iodide, which is I. Okay? Now, if you remember, right, we need to figure out what our charges are so that we can figure out what our formulas look like, right? So let's deal with that first. So it tells you that lead is lead 2 nitrate. So you know that lead is going to have a charge of +2. All right. You know that nitrate, if you were to look on your polyatomic ion sheet, if you don't have it with you at home, there should be one in the reference materials folder. You should also be able to find one just online and look up what the charge is on nitrate. But if you take a look, you will realize that the charge on nitrate is going to be -1. Same thing over here. Let's go with sodium. Sodium is going to be one of those group 1 elements, so it's going to have a charge of +1. And then iodine is going to be a halogen. They all have charges of -1. This should give you an idea of what your charges should be. All right? So before we start writing out the correct equations, I want to talk about the prediction of what your should be produced. Right? So if you take a look at this equation for you guys, if you take a look, you have a compound and another compound, right? And it looks like somebody's going to be switching places. So in your mind, you should take a look at this and say, yo, this looks like a double replacement. So over here, you're going to put dr. That would be the correct answer. And since it is a double replacement, please remember that like charges are going to swap places. That means that because lead is positive and sodium is positive, they are going to swap places with each other. All right, so when they swap places with each other, then you're going to get on the other side, you're going to get lead. If my pen will cooperate. Right, so then we're going to get lead, right? And now lead is going to be with iodine. And then we are going to get sodium, and sodium is going to be with nitrate now. Okay, same deal. You need to make sure that you are taking a look at your charges to make sure that they are what they're supposed to be. So lead, the product is going to be the same as it was as the reactant. So lead is going to be +2. Lead is going to be +2. Iodine is going to be -1. On the other side, same situation. Sodium is going to be +1. Nitrates, if you were to take a look at your polyatomic ion sheet, is going to be -1. All right, so now that we have figured out who moves, let us take a look at the actual equation. So let's make sure that our charges are written properly. So here we have, let me make sure that I have a color that you guys can see better. All right. So remember, you're going to cross the numbers, not the charges. So if we need the correct formula for lead 2 nitrate, it ends up being Pb, right? NO3, 2, right? Put the parentheses around it because it's a polyatomic ion, and you want to make sure that you are telling me that you need 2 polyatomic ions of nitrates. And to do that, you have to put parentheses. Sodium iodide is correct, +1 -1. Remember, all of your charges have to equal 0. And then when we talk about lead 2 iodide, same situation. It's going to be PB, can't speak today, I2. Please remember that it is not a polyatomic ion, so it does not require parentheses. It is just an element. Over here, we have sodium with +1, and then we have a nitrate with -1. So those charges are great. They balance out to 0. And we have now balanced all of our formulas. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the charges now because we don't need them anymore, because we have already figured out our correct formulas. All right. Now let's get into our coefficients, right? So obviously we have a problem because we do not have the equal number of everything on both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to balance. Now remember, to balance, you cannot add subscripts. You have to add coefficients. The coefficients are going to be the numbers that are before the elements. So I'm going to just start to balance. I'm going to start with iodine, I guess, right? I have 2 over here. I only have 1 over here. That means I need to put a 2 here. Okay, and now I have 2 sodium. I only have 1 sodium on this side. So now that means I need a 2 here. Okay, and then I think we're balanced, right? We have 2 iodine, we have 2 sodium, we have 2 iodine, we have 2 sodium, we have 2 nitrates, we have 1 lead, and we are done. All right. So that is going to be your answer for A on this worksheet. Is going to be PB parentheses NO3 plus 2 NaI. That yields lead iodide PbI2 plus 2 sodium nitrates. Hopefully that was helpful.